Okay, so we're gonna call the meeting
We can't officially without quorum.
until, okay.
But once the other two get here, are all of them upstairs?
Ben and Max are here.
They're here. That's enough. Yes, 2/3 is what you need, right? So we just need to make sure that they're here. Once they get here, we can start.
I know somebody else that's part of SGA. I can call them.
I bet with no pressure. At the end of the day, as long as we
Yes.
know from this meeting on that we can't be late. And it is 1:01. Brother Maximilian, let's make sure we're on time. You got class at this period?
I'm just getting out of tutoring.
God bless you. Let's make sure that when it comes down to the meeting, you know we're on time. And then I will scold Mr. Treasurer as well.
Ben's at work.
Oh, Ben's at work?
He's coming down.
Okay. Where's he work?
Where is it? Not the tutoring lab, but
Oh, he has
the one right below the library.
Yeah, come to student life. Yeah.
So how was your week?
Good. How was yours?
It was good.
Randall not coming?
No. Yeah. He'll be next.
Okay.
Well, it was my birthday. My birthday had passed.
We're happy belated.
October 8th, I turned 30 years old. I'm not ashamed of my age. No, not one bit. But I say that because, see, the reason why I'm in college is because I want to be a teacher. And basically they told me that in order for me to become a teacher and teaching, you know, what I'm got a degree in, specialize in, is that I have to get a degree, you know, or basically I'm telling somebody to do something I haven't done yet, you know. Well, plagiarism is what they call it, you know. So I'm in the criminal justice law enforcement program because, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to open up my own business to become an attorney, you know, because there's a lot of attorneys out there now, and they talk a lot about healthcare needs instead of, you know, actual power of attorney needs, such as if the, you know, defendant or the counsel or the business can't make a decision, the attorney can either make a decision for them or help them gather the information, you know, someone to counsel with, you know, to, you know, help represent them in court, or, you know, give them, if they're a first-time offender or first-time petitioner, you know, lead them the right way, you know. So that's my idea. But as teaching-wise, I want to go into like martial arts. You know, like, yeah, because to me that's, you know, martial arts. I started doing it when I was like 17. And at that time, I didn't graduate high school because of that. Because me and a lot of other classmates, we didn't have the, you know, what it took, you know, to actually move on to go to college, which I wanted to. And that's why the struggle was so hard for me, because I wanted to always go to the pros, to either play in a professional sport, whether it was football or basketball, or where we at now, student government. So I decided not to give up on my dream of education and continue my education. You know. While I got the chance, while I'm still healthy that year.
Waiting on one more individual, is correct? And then get started. Madam President.
This is for the icebreaker thing. So we're gonna do it at the icebreaker.
You can as soon as we started. And so whatever your thumb lands is what you
What
lands.
thumb? Left or does it matter?
Let's try right thumb.
I was gonna say,
Authentic Italian or American Italian?
is that
He's an Italian, right?
Yeah, Italian.
Italian? I thought you said best Italian.
Real Italian food is not like American Italian food.
Yep, that is true.
Especially Sicilian food. They eat some weird stuff.
Do you do homemade? You have homemade?
Homemade what?
Like, did it from scratch? Do you do flour? Like, you know,
I didn't make my own noodles, but yeah, I made a lot of Italian food from,
from scratch?
yeah, but like, I didn't make my own noodles or
Yeah.
anything
Well,
like
you
that.
go like, I think it was Glory Noodles or something like that. It was like an Italian,
Noodles.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one. They,
I heard it's
very good.
There's a couple good Italian places. My grandma's Sicilian, like authentic Sicilian, so she makes like a lot of really good,
She needed a
really good
tester.
food.
But she needed a taste tester.
If you want to move down to Florida, I'm sure she'd love that.
Yeah, I had a friend, his family was part of the Italian mafia.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's crazy, but they were
Yeah,
filthy rich. They were friends with the
What was his
with the
last
people,
name?
Romano.
Is he from Milwaukee?
No, he's from Illinois actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from.
Wait, are those wireless?
Yeah, they were friends with the person that created Tito's.
You know, I have the
Tito's
iPhone.
vodka?
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
stole it.
Filthy rich.
For real,
Yeah,
it got stolen from
get
here.
He's down in Texas now, I
Yeah,
think.
and I went to
Tito's
public
vodka.
safety,
Yeah.
whatever, and they're like, oh, like, they couldn't do anything about that, something like that, and I'm like, supposed to be public safety,
Tito's football
supposed to help me
helmet. He has
out.
Vans that says Tito's on there. It's crazy.
And then he's like, you
My
shouldn't
grandpa
like,
did
even
time,
look
federal
at
time with the
because
Balistreri
say
brothers.
stupid me. I was in
Y'all just going real deep.
the library, what's it
Yeah,
called?
it's ancient history.
The lab,
You do like
whatever.
3 more minutes,
Okay,
Mr.
well, I
President.
put mine in
call
my
it.
purse. Something literally went to my purse.
We call Benjamin.
And got it out there.
On the way.
It was ridiculous. So,
Is,
you know, I mean,
Yamaha?
it does make sense because I could never trust you.
We'll discuss that.
I should never trust because I'm thinking, oh, there's cameras in here. And then, you know, no one's gonna like even try. Ever did. Merry Christmas.
I'm thinking, I don't know if you want this, but I'm thinking in terms of reading articles, just he said, like a MATC, like the week before, and then follow up when it gets closer. Yeah. Because, yeah, I was like, I didn't know if we had a meeting today until I looked at, until you texted me. Yeah, we just talked before we just getting the deal. And then also, typing minutes, and I have it 6 minutes, I just need a little clarification. wrote down, just put in a document and share it, gotcha.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order at
Be unofficial, Madam President. It will be unofficial, correct?
Correct.
We continue.
We will go ahead and call the meeting to order at 1:10 p.m. And we're gonna start off with an icebreaker, okay? So, we're gonna throw the ball and wherever your thumb lands, answer the question. And say your name first.
Adina. Beautiful beach I want to see.
So what's your name?
Spain.
What's your name?
I'm Adina. Nice to meet
Adina.
y'all.
Good.
And beautiful beach I want to see is Spain. I'm Caribbean Spain.
Good deal, good deal. There you go.
Shaquille, magazine I read. Men's Health, pretty much. Men's Health, Xbox magazines, and that's about shit. Last name, what's your name?
Jen.
Jen. Yep.
Alright, it landed on this, so if you throw it to me, it landed on.
I know you love it. Good.
Something I wear again and again. My Apple Watch.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
All right. Right. It looks like it landed here. Music my parents like. I'd say Michael Jackson. Or Jackson 5. Yep. Motown.
Old time. Farthest place I've traveled. Where was it? Is it somewhere like Peru, maybe? Far south?
Why are you asking me, man?
I'm just thinking, I'm like, yeah, that works.
Ideal car. Something that I don't have to spend a lot for gas. That's my ideal car.
What kind of car is it though? You gotta play the game.
Definitely not a Prius, even though I'm driving my mom's right now. Maybe just like a affordable Honda or something like that, or a Toyota. Very, very frugal gas-saving car.
The Civics are nice. They look like they got some sporty Civics now. Like
Yeah, the ones like the hatchbacks and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the
like
little rack on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really sporty. Anyways.
So Chinese food I always order is pepper steak because it's so good, y'all. The combination is amazing. But yes, so that was our icebreaker. So we're gonna start off with the ground rules. So due to the parliamentary procedures, I'll be the moderator for the meetings, and you can raise your hand and I'll address you when you're able to speak. And when addressing the people in the room, you address everyone using their titles first and their name will follow. So for example, I'll say, y'all are senators, so I'll say Senator Jalen, or Secretary Max, things like that. So furthermore, if you break parliamentary procedures, you will hear the term decorum. And breaking these procedures includes, but is not limited to, talking out of turn, being disrespectful to the speaker, and not following the agenda. After hearing decorum 3 times, you will be removed. Okay. So moving on to appointed positions. We have 3 appointed positions that we need to appoint. The first one is the parliamentarian position. The duties of those are to advise our student government on all parliamentarian procedures, be responsible for any legislation pending before the floor, keeping a record of all resolutions and motions brought before the General Assembly, and preside over impeachment proceedings, maintaining an impartial manner at all times. The second is the sergeant at arms, and those duties are to maintain order at all meetings, governing of time, assist the president and vice president as needed. And the third is the public relations coordinator. And those duties are to manage the official Facebook page, delegate all suggestions received to appropriate Milwaukee student government members, faculty, and staff, post all suggestions and comments received through the suggestion box, keep a record of all comments, suggestions, and responses, to check comment suggestion boxes once per week and manage the key to all the boxes, and ensure everything posted on the official Facebook page is accurate and reflects positively on the Milwaukee student government. So, parliamentarian. So does anyone have any questions? So one person is interested in one of these positions. If anyone else is interested, please come see one of us after. And yes, at the next meeting, we will get a gather up of all.
What's the name of the position again?
So we have the parliamentarian, the sergeant at arms, and public relations coordinator.
Madam President. Madam President.
Yes, Director Brown.
Just for clarity purposes, when you're addressing, again, the room, again, whomever has the floor, you then therefore ask for permission to, by particularly stating their title, as I did, to gain the right to speak in this space, right? So for everybody, just again, you just call the person, whoever has the floor, if you would like to add, some type of point of clarity to the room. Thank you. I yield back my time, Mr. President.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
I can give you my resume, and it has like a list of all of my skills and everything on there, and a little professional summary, so you can go over it, and whoever makes the decision, and if the space available, whichever one you think I'll be qualified for, I'll try out for. If you don't like me in that position, we can change.
I have the floor, Madam President.
Yes, Treasurer.
Secretary.
Oh,
Madam President, sorry. I'd like to point out that I don't know if we need a resume per se. We just need someone who's willing to do well and commit to these positions. So if you want to do, let's say, sergeant at arms because your interest is in criminal justice, as long as you're committed to that, we don't need necessarily a resume. It's not like a formal job application, but you need to be committed to the position.
Secretary.
Yes, sir.
I was interested into the last position that you said, which was public relations. So, I mean, if I could talk to you about that afterwards.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you'd like that, as long as, like I said, as long as you're committed, it's yours.
Yeah.
Mr. Secretary.
Yes, sir.
Functionally, the way students will apply will look different come this year. And so in essence, I respect the idea that resumes weren't an actual official process prior to this year, but I would definitely look into hopefully being able to get on you guys' docket as an e-board and decipher exactly what that looks like.
Okay.
And if it's just a nomination, it can be just a nomination. If it's a nomination in a speech, it can be just a nomination in a speech. If it's more to it, but you may include a resume or recommendation letters, that could happen as well. But again, we want to make sure that your team is not only qualified, but also has that drive that you speak of to really want to do the job, right? And how do you decipher that? From an administrative stance, we do it by putting those intermittent measures in place to ensure that those students that meet those measures ultimately have shown that they want to be in space. Does that make sense? So ultimately, that's my 2 cents to it. Again, I'm here in an advisory stance, and again, I look forward to seeing all of you guys come through, if you so desire.
Thank you.
My time. Thank you, Mr. President.
If there's no other questions for me, I'll turn it back over to Madam President.
So moving on to committees, we have 4 standing committees, which are the Legislative Committee, the Fundraising, Events, and Community Relations Committee. The Legislative Committee consists of to install checks and balances when needed, to assist the parliamentarian in revisions and/or the removal of bylaws at the discretion of the General Assembly, to assist the Sergeant at Arms in accuracy at meetings regarding the bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order, and to make sure that all of the Milwaukee student government activities abide by the Milwaukee student government bylaws and the MATC student code of conduct. So that's for the legislative committee. And for the fundraising committee, the responsibilities include to inform and request the approval of all events that are planned, to work alongside the vice president and/or treasurer in regards to all budgetary requests and/or revisions, to inform the General Assembly of all events planned, to make sure that all events abide by the Milwaukee Student Government bylaws and the MATC Student Code of Conduct, to form an accurate expense report for all events, and to present the reports to the General Assembly after approval from the committee's council. And moving on to the events committee, the responsibilities include to work alongside the public relations coordinator regarding all marketing strategies for events, to form an accurate expense report for all events, and to be present to the report to the General Assembly after approval from the committee's council, to have a minimum of 4 on-campus events per semester, to provide accurate projections for all events, and to provide the results from all events to the General Assembly. And moving on to the last committee is the Community Relations Committee, and those responsibilities include to assist students in filing complaints, to communicate all Milwaukee student government related information to the MATC community, to obtain information from students regarding MATC and/or Milwaukee student government, and reports to the executive board at the discretion of the chair and vice president, to communicate with the advisor and/or the executive board regarding senator and volunteer applications, MATC events, and student-related issues, to properly relay information about the Milwaukee student government to the MATC community, and to work alongside the secretary in regards to networking with the MATC Times and other student organizations. So those are our 4 standing committees. Just keep those in the back of your mind if you're interested, if one pops out to you more, because as things comes up, they will fall into one of those 4 committees. The food drive will fall into the Community Relations Committee, and I know that we made a motion to have a food drive this year, so is anyone looking to participate in that committee in particular?
I'll participate in just about any motion you all decide on. I have no reason to appeal anymore.
Yes.
Tell me the dates, what the event is, because like, you know, I do work during weekdays. Like I participate, I'm open, you know, I'm flexible either way, as long as it doesn't work with schedule or class. Like I don't care, I'll be there.
So yeah, okay. Like what's really cool is that we make it. So like not like we make the event. So everything that we do will be up to us. So there's no set date for an event right now, unless we set one.
Oh, you was gonna say something.
Really quick, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Madam President, like, if you just give me like 2 weeks so I can like tell or whatever, excuse me, 2 weeks like prior, so I can tell my boss, like, you know, hey, I won't be there or whatever, so they can like have somebody at my shift or something. Like, I'm flexible either way if it's like, you know, because I actually do want to be part.
That's great. Okay, no, definitely we will do. Senator Jalen?
So like you was talking about like the food drive. Well, like I know like places that we can go to. Like this is one church called St. Hyshin's, and they have a food pantry for the homeless and low income families that can like afford turkeys and stuff like that for Thanksgiving, and we can go out there and actually like help out, give out the turkeys, get our face out there and show that we're actually trying to help the community, instead of just all paperwork and just this and that, So I can pull a couple strings and talk to a couple people because I have a couple of connects with that. So I mean, we can talk after about this, or I can hand y'all some of the information because I got the numbers, and I can just talk to them on the phone, just like, hey, I got some people in student government at MATC that's trying to start this food drive thing. They'll be quick to be like, yes, we need the help because they like to see things like that. So yeah.
Madam President,
Yes, Director Bob.
as a point of information, everybody, there is a microphone in front of you. The meeting is being recorded, so if you want to make sure that your voices are heard on the camera, you can definitely press your button, and your voice will be amplified throughout the room. Thanks.
Senator Donovan.
To tag off of what Director Burrows just said, be careful as well because it's going to pick up every movement that you make. So if you're moving your hands or if you're tapping too close, it's going to pick that up really heavily.
So we will discuss the food drive after, because the purpose of the meetings, I want everyone to keep this in mind, is that when we form committees, this is not the planning process. We want to make sure that we plan, we work on things outside of the meeting so that when we come back to the meeting, we have enough to report out on. So the meetings are like a report out type basis, and so we will, after the meeting, we will get together, and anyone who wants to be part of the food drive, we will get that started. Are there any questions? So our treasury report is the same as last time. Nothing has changed. Nothing has been removed. Nothing has been added. But when we get things jumping, it's going to switch up. Okay.
Madam President,
Yes, Director.
can we have Mr. Treasurer actually give that report on record? I know you reported out for him in essence, but just for the sake of the record, if he can say that, that's not a problem at all. I yield back my time, Madam President.
So for the treasury report, for student government office supplies, we have $1,200. For student government special projects, we have $4,000. For student government legislative projects, we have $1,000.
Thank you. So moving on to our advisory report. Oh,
Madam President.
Senator Jalen.
So like when you mentioned those prices, do you want them to stay the same or do you want them to go up? Because, man, the more funding, the more things we can make happen.
So right now we have the same amount, but we're still working on it. So hopefully we'll get something going.
Madam President, if I may.
Yes.
I'd like to ask the treasurer, what was the first amount for again?
Office supplies for $1,200.
Gotcha.
Special projects for $4,000, and legislative projects for $1,000.
Thank you very much. I yield my time back.
Madam President, if I may.
Yes, Director Burrows.
Mr. Senator, in regard to the budget as it stands, as it does need to go down, right, as you guys utilize it. And once that's utilized at that threshold, you then therefore make the argument for the next budget cycle to say that, hey, because of what we've done currently, we now need more in order to continue to engage. Does that make sense? And so ultimately, that will, again, it's not necessarily a price, it's more of a budget of what you guys have as an entity. And over the past 10 years or so that you guys particularly have been allocated that framing or amount to engage. The Office of Student Life also supports and partners with a number of initiatives that also can kind of continue to stretch the reach of the initiatives that are brought from this table. But again, functionally, this is a governance board and this governance board takes care of the functional things of the institution. And so when it comes down to it, activities are handled through the Office of Student Life functionally, but you guys are a piece of that puzzle in regard to assuring that we're providing the quality and types of events that students would want to hear, right? The governance frame polls that idea of saying, hey, what do you guys want to see? How do you want to see it? And then that is therefore relayed back through the coordination of student life at large. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cheers.
Senator Donovan?
Thank you, Madam President. Kind of going back to the budget, $4,000 was mentioned for special projects, I believe. So what would be classified as a special project? Because I remember briefly from last year's experience, most of the things that were done were covered through the Office of Student Life, but there also weren't many special projects or events that had occurred. So what would be classified as a special project, just for reference?
Is that to me?
Just open to anyone who can answer, really.
So functionally special projects as it stood in the past, again, this is particularly could be anything that is deemed a special project by this board with a unanimous vote particularly. Again, if you really utilize the partnership with the Office of Student Life, I would encourage that as well, but anything could be a special project, whether it be a speech or talk, or some type of special project that you guys decide is worth the time and has a unanimous vote to it. So there's not much detail to that budget line as I understand it, and it was utilized pretty liberally in the past in regard to what could be pulled from that budget line.
Okay, thank you.
No
I yield my
problem.
time.
Sure.
Senator Gerald?
Like to go off of what he said is that, so like I understand, like, you know, student life helps out that, you know, aspect of, like, you know, having the student engage with things. But what I've seen so far, this is my first year here. I came from a 4-year university. So, like, I feel like when I see things at this school, I'm like, where are y'all actually using the money for? Not to be, you know, like that, but like, cause I see some students that I've seen like what, in August, they're not even here no more. You know, and I'm like, okay, well, what is student government doing to, like, or what is student life doing to help these kids stay at this school instead of when they get that check, they're hitting it. You know what I'm saying? Cause like when I saw when I was in my 4th year, they was doing things for like students to actually be engaged. They had multiple things for students to do, even not just on Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the things I saw so far that really like hit me to the heart for real.
Madam President, we could talk after if you would. I think there's again, particularly, again, I am the new director of student life. Everybody, if you don't know who I am Equan Burrow, sitting in for Coordinator Brooks here in space as the advisor to the SGA for the downtown campus. I advise the DSS, or the District Student Government, for the entire 4 campuses, but on the behalf of student life, I can definitely give you the insight that we have gone through a transition, and that ultimately we have set up a number of strategies that we put in place to do exactly what you're saying, all right? Not just to have one thing per week, but to have one marquee thing per week and surround those things with 3 other things, right? Events that are educationally driven, socially driven, and community driven, right? And so in essence, Coordinator Brooks is tasked, along with the other 4 coordinators, including the management of student life, in order to, per campus, execute that mission at least 3 times a week, 12 times a month, 144 times per each campus, and 576 times per year. And so in essence, I echo your sentiment, and when I got here about a year ago and 1 month to the date, it was one of my first initiatives to bring to the campus, was to strategize and to organize a comprehensive plan to execute these things. We are now in the execution phase of this piece of the puzzle, so if you're probably right. Prior to this time, you might not have seen the engagement at a level, you may not have seen it prior to, and then again, individuals do stop out We do have interventions and measures in place to support all of our students. And in essence, those things we can learn about after the fact as well, because they are vast. Anything from housing insecurity to food insecurity and a number of other programs that we utilize and have within our disposal to continue to support our students here at college. That's just on one side of the idea. The engagement piece, again, is ramping up. We're utilizing tools like campus labs, which again we'll get into in our DSS meeting if you so choose to attend that. At the end of the day, there's a lot going on, and I can't wait to off the time. I know we're about time for 47 after. I want to make sure we stay on schedule. At the end of the day, we can definitely talk about that after the fact. I yield back my time, Madam President.
Senator Donovan.
Kind of to go off of that, coming from a four-year institution myself, things that you noticed from different colleges is their student government is not only walking marketing for the college, as well as there's the student advocacy portion, which is a big deal. Seeing that and how that could apply to MATC is MATC doesn't feel like we have school spirit, which also comes in with our alumni. It's kind of hard to keep track of our alumni because we haven't really focused on building that relationship. So student government has $4,000 to do special projects, and the Office of Student Life is doing 144 events per each school year. Is that what it was?
Roughly 576.
Oh, yeah.
Nevertheless, all influenced and fueled by this board of individuals, yes.
I feel like that would be a powerful time to really take advantage of the people that they're pulling out to those events, as well as to host those events so the student government actually gets more of its face out there, as well as to recruit more students. That'd be a powerful recruitment tool. And having more voices allots for more opportunities to create and that develop ideas for these special projects, but those special projects could be heavy recruitment tools, as well as more advocacy and fighting for their students and what they need. And so building school spirit is kind of a big portion of this, because if people aren't proud to be here, then what's the point? I yield my time.
Yes, it's here.
Why do you feel that way, I guess? I mean, there's a lot said there, but there wasn't, this is how I feel about it. That MATC is not a four-year college.
Right.
People come here for a lot of different reasons versus a traditional four-year bachelor's degree, whether that's convenience, price. We're non-traditional in that way. That's how I see it. And there's a lot of other things that go into that. But I'm asking, why do you feel that? Like, why should we make strides to be like a four-year degree, a four-year university, when our goals and the people that come to us have a vastly different
needs, and focuses, priorities.
That's true, yes. But just why do you feel that way, I guess?
So coming from a four-year institution, I'm the president of the Black Student Union here, and so one of the things that I noticed right away was everybody's in and out. The focus is to get your degree and then head out. Especially for me personally, because I work 3 different jobs, one of them being here and 2 outside of here. So when I start to notice that, I notice that people are not really paying attention to the opportunities that are here at the campus. They don't know specific resources that are here at the campus, and so certain students have gone to search those things out, but most students don't have time to. And so even when I was trying to figure out how do we get more people involved in Black Student Union, how do we get more people really just equipped and prepared beyond graduation and staying connected with those students, that was the thing that I noticed was people don't even want to be associated with the college in a certain sense, not as there's something wrong with the college, more so is they don't feel like the college is doing enough for them beyond their program. And so coming from a marketing background as well, because that's what I'm here for, is television and video production, but in the Office of Student Life, I work as the digital media specialist. one of the things that I noticed is our brand doesn't seem to have a brand personality. It has a lot of, we're an institution, it has a lot of professionalism, and so we can't recruit more students to even come to the school if we're not appealing to them. And so if we're appealing to those students and students are having certain complaints, they don't know where to elevate those complaints to. If we get them in the room, they have a place to elevate those complaints, we can continue to make the institution better and make it last longer to better serve the students.
Thank you.
No problem.
I yield my time back.
All right, yes, well.
If you could, we'll wait for Madam President to call.
Yes, Senator.
Yes, I had an idea, a suggestion. That was true. What Senator Dunn said was true. Well, I had just wanted to imply that for us to remember, you know, all of our individual goals that we had when we started this semester, when we set off to start our day, to remember to continue to consume, you know, as much as we produce, you know, so we don't go past the budget or go past, you know, our limitations, you know, just to keep that in mind. Because if we can do that, then a new opportunity can open up, and then, you know, we won't be going in that cycle where we're repeating the previous year in all the events. And so because our goal as a whole is to draw in a crowd or learn something as a team in this, you know, group effort, you know, and see who we can touch, you know, in that public relations affairs. Yeah.
Any further discussion?
Madam President,
Yes,
if I
Senator.
may, again, this is the most I'll ever talk at any of you guys' meetings, but I think the thoughts are poignant, and I just want to continue to encourage you guys' open dialogue outside of the meeting as well. I'm serving as parliamentarian, as an advisor would do outside of the parliamentary frame that is to be appointed, but within space, which we do have until 47 after the hour, we are allowed to continue to have that discussion. But again, I would like to limit our responses to a poignant 1 to 1.5 minutes in essence. Just as a general note, just to make sure we get our points out and make sure that we can have that dialogue and that discussion back and forth between everyone, which we all respected today. Beyond that, everyone, I am excited about all the ideas coming together and being refined to one central idea that is to be executed and initiated by your board here, which again, all of you are voting members as senators, okay? So know that your voices are heard. Know that, again, we are here and we'll be here every other week to continue to discuss the governance frameworks of this institution, all right? I thank you for the idea of hosting. Hosting is definitely an option for any and every frame of our engagement concept, and that is exactly why it was positioned the way it was, intentionally to assure that, again, entities like SGA and other entities of the college can come into the space and share exactly what they have to offer to our student populations and stakeholders at large, which includes communities. And I feel back my time, Madam President.
Our advisory report, our advisor, Coordinator Brooks, is out today, so she will give her official report at the next meeting. Moving on, we need to make a correction to the agenda. DSS has been changed to District Student Government Association. For those who don't know, that's when all 4 campuses get together. Our Mequon, West Allis, Oak Creek, and Milwaukee campus, we get together and meet. Would you like to give a DSS report, Director Burrows?
Would you like me to, Madam President?
Yes, Director Burrows.
No problem. DSS for the first time will convene this Friday at 1 p.m. Here in this room downtown on Friday. If you guys so choose, you are all welcome to sit in public forum on that space. Again, your representatives to the DSS are the individuals sitting here at this board, and those are the persons that will be here in space, along with 2 extra appointed members that, again, will be voting persons per campus. Nevertheless, DSS, we have a number of things to go over, which include positions for the Student Life Department at large, which also affect exactly what you guys do and how you interface as students here at the college. There are a number of things, including the bus fare, and the opportunity for us to advocate for keeping the Mequon line and the South line open. There are a number of other issues that will be brought to the table in regard to choosing committee members and the board representative at this meeting as well from the four campuses, the boards. And so this is exciting times. We're moving into a very progressive frame as the Office of Student Life and particularly the Student Government Association. Again, to give some clarity on why DSS is now DSGA. Every campus at one time had a DSS, or excuse me, a SS, Student Senate, right? The Student Senate was then therefore turned into student government per campus. The entity at large, I would say, forgot to then therefore after retroactively change the actual name of the conglomerate, which was DSS, District Student Government, to exactly what they changed every campus to, which was the campus's Student Government Association. So ultimately the district is now utilizing the framework of district student government as it should have a time ago. Beyond that, though, that is one of the only functional changes. We'll also be going over our constitution that governs the entire four campuses, and ultimately after that would suffice for what our agenda will entail come Friday. If you guys will get an email today, I don't know if this is on this piece of paper on the agenda, but there will be an open. What are we calling it? Coordinator Brooks has titled it, but at the end of the day, there will be an opportunity for you guys to attend a Bucks game. Again, I don't know to what end the constituency at large is going to get that invite. You should have an email sometime today, roughly, with a sign-up sheet. So if you see that, it'll be this Thursday, everybody. This Thursday in that regard for that Bucks game. So if you see that email, please sign up. Those tickets will go fast, okay? E-boards from each campuses are invited and guaranteed their spaces, and then first come, first served for all the other constituents per the district. That's one of our first of many outings, if you would, that would include our neighbors, the Milwaukee Bucks, and creating that relationship will continue to render positive results for the college at large and for our students experientially. So we're excited. I give back my time, Madam President.
Yes, Secretary.
I have a few questions. You said the DSG will convene Friday at what time this week? 1 p.m. Okay.
In this room, 120.
Yes, that's 120. And then just to reiterate, you said the Bucks game is this week Thursday?
This week Thursday.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you'll have an email to you guys today for signups. But again, they'll go fast, so I want you guys to be aware of it, but also be excited about it.
Thank you for the clarification. I use my time there.
Moving on to WSG, we will have that official report. We're going to table that till the next meeting. We had our representatives go to WSG this past weekend, so we will get that report from them, and we will deliver that report back on the next meeting. So we're going to table that agenda item. Moving on to public comments. Does anyone have anything to say? Yes, Secretary.
I'd just like as a comment or a statement in general, I'd like to say that this, following the rules and the parliamentary rules, even though we're kind of learning it today, I thought that this was a much more productive and on-task meeting. There wasn't a whole lot of talking out of turn and talking out of context, and I think that really helps in terms of nailing down ideas for what we can improve on in a more concise way, and keep it up, I guess. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other public comments they would like to say at this time? If not, I entertain. Yes.
What is the next meeting?
The next meeting will be, so we just figured out all of our schedules and things like that. So today, by the end of the day today, you will be getting a survey asking you to vote on the meeting time and the meeting day. And then from there, we will determine what our next meeting will be. And then as soon as the survey closes, we will send out an email to let everyone know the exact meeting time and meeting day. Any other questions, comments?
Madam President,
Yes, Director Brown?
if I can request, and again, we will talk about this at a later date, but I want to make sure that everybody in the room, some type of cadence that is deciphered by your board on reaching out to said students. I know I've heard complaints of students not knowing when, where, or why. And so if we can give that on a consistent basis, even if you guys are scheduling that into the, you can schedule email to go out. You can populate the drafts of them now, but make sure they're on some type of cadence that students are learning of student government early and often. And then also, let's get with Coordinator Brooks to get you guys' meetings into the week ahead, which is our publication for the college at large. That again will continue to expose this student government body to the college at large. And so I'm excited about where this is going. And again, with your powers combined, I don't know if you guys are Captain Planet fans, but at the end of the day, I know this is going to be good. Cheers.
So I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I what?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Good job.
Madam President.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay, the motion carries and the meeting is adjourned at 1:51 p.m.
Congratulations, everybody. Y'all give yourselves a hand. That was good. Please clap for yourself. Please. That was really good. And yeah, thank you guys. You guys got it?
Yeah.